So in today's video, we are talking about Silverwolf, raising her, checking her out in some various content. We have already made some pretty decent progress with her. She's currently level 70. I did actually start farming to get her to the next star level, but I figured, it actually wouldn't make that big of a difference anyway, especially because her bonus ability here doesn't seem all that insane. But we'll talk about her traces later, because there definitely needs to be some work done there as well. Let's just go over how I built her to start. She is running her free-to-play light cone. You get this freely S5 pretty easily and pretty quickly from the new event they currently have running. It's a very simple card, 40% effect hit rate, and 8 energy regeneration when attacking def-reduced targets. So honestly, a very nice card. She really needs effect hit rate. I've seen numbers thrown around that the total she should have is between like 80 to 96%. Her relics are a bit of a mess right now. We don't have any like proper sets going on or anything. It's quite broken. She is also borrowing gear from some of my other units like Sela, but I mean, that's just what I've always done anyway, so why stop now? Speaking of relics, she is built actually quite DPS-y, but I did try and focus on effect hit rate substats. We are currently at 92.3%, and that's before we have this 6% and this 8% from her traces. I probably won't get this one for a while because it's quite expensive, but I mean, we can get this one right now. So there we go. Now we do have that 98%. We really shouldn't need any more than that. I did have some people ask what this stat does. So very simply, it is just the chance to land debuffs. And Silverwolf does lots of debuffs. She does def reduction, attack reduction, applies weaknesses to enemies. So yeah, that's probably her most important stat, honestly. Besides that, she has a good amount of crit rate, crit damage, some attack. I really didn't know what else to get her because we could get most of our effect hit rate just from the light cone and substats. So I was like, may as well have her deal some extra damage. Why not? She also does have a good amount of speed. I think most characters do want a lot of speed. Most characters will want main stat speed boots. There are some exceptions like Clara, you know, her main utility is coming from tanking and countering. So it's like, gave her attack boots. I've also heard Sela shouldn't be too fast because she's gonna eat up all the skill points, but that's a topic for a different day. So she falls somewhere in like the sub DPS category when it comes to stats. I don't think we're gonna see super impressive numbers or anything because she is still E0, and through some higher eidolons like 4 and 6, she gets pretty huge damage increases that can really make her a viable sub DPS. We'll see what kind of damage she can do, but I'm not expecting much, especially since we opted to not whale for her 5-star light cone and going with a 4-star instead. But yeah, the main thing we need to do before actually playing with her is upgrading her skills. I'd say pretty much all of her skills are important, maybe not her basics so much, but both her ultimate and skill debuffs last 3 turns, once you get the bonus ability anyway. So she probably will be basicing at least a bit. All right, hopefully we've done enough material farming. Let's see how much higher we can get this stuff. I do, of course, want to focus on her burst. It increases the damage of her burst by quite a lot. I mean, the multiplier there is already 300%. We probably should get the not too expensive little attack boosts here as well. This one's already a little iffy, requiring 3 purples. I'm going to raise her basic attack at least a bit because I'm sure she is going to do basics from time to time. She shouldn't really need to be spamming her skill all the time. You know, it's 3 turns, like I said. I'm not going to give it the highest priority even so, because again, I do want to get like her other stuff up more. I'm probably going to stop at, 6 to 8 for most of these skills because we already ran out. We're going to need to farm a lot. I've also been raising Bailu alongside Silverwolf. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but raising characters in general is very resource hungry, and we've already started digging into our fuels here, so we're gonna keep doing that. Really do want to get her to a decent state here. Let's start with burst and skill to 7, see if we have anything left over. We could get a 6% attack, but honestly, from what I've seen so far from Silverwolf, mine isn't doing a ton of damage. It's okay, but I don't think 6% extra attack is gonna do much, whereas this, do a few more debuffs. I will, of course, eventually get it, but just for the sake of, today's showcase. So traces are about as high as I can get them for now. Pretty decent, 777. Would have liked to get the basic a little higher because especially in like single target fights, she's going to be doing basic a lot, actually. But again, it only increases the damage of basic, so I didn't put a massive priority on it, whereas everything else increases the chance to do the debuff as well as the power of the debuff itself. But yeah, Silverwolf's kit in a nutshell, she's incredibly single target focused. Everything is single target. She's very debuff heavy, 41% def reduction, adding a weakness on skill, as well as 20% damage res reduction for that element, as well as another 9% all type res for 2 turns. Her bonus ability up here, you can only get once she's max ascended. We'll increase that 9% to 12%. It's okay, I guess. I just didn't feel like it was that important. Her talent currently has a 67% base chance to add one of these bugs, which either reduce attack, def, or speed by a pretty small amount here, but it does last for 3 or 4 turns if you get the bonus ability here, and it can be triggered by any one of her attacks, as well as when an enemy is weakness broken, then it also has a 65% chance to implant a bug. The one thing I haven't really looked at and want to check out real quick is how these bugs interact with one another, if they can stack, if we can at least have one of each type of bug. I assume that is at least the case, but if we can have multiple like def reduction bugs, for example, that's what I want to look at first. She is already in our party. I have been kind of just watching her do her stuff on auto while we were farming. The damage she's dealing wasn't anything to write home about, honestly. It wasn't horrible, but it definitely was nowhere near like DPS level. And of course, she doesn't have the same investment as my Jingyuan or Seela. I highly doubt even if she did, it would still be anywhere close. I think she would need higher Eidolon levels for that. But yeah, just as a little test run here, we're gonna go to Forgotten Hull. Haven't done much yet. I'm gonna try and speed raise Bailu and Gepard so I can have like two, you know, full teams then. So we're gonna kind of just go in with her and like a healer so she doesn't die to see what she can do. Her out of combat technique is pretty cool too. She can hit the enemy like this, and regardless of what weakness they have, it'll still apply this weakness break on them. So already we can see this guy has a ton of bugs on him, even just one turn later. But this guy only has one bug. How many bugs can she apply at once? But anyway, we're going to try and implant a either quantum or physical on this boss. It was a quantum weakness, which is probably better, honestly. It would be cool to weakness break him before his gauge stacks. I probably should have maybe brought a whole team though. I didn't think it'd be this hard since we're only at stage 1. So just to make everything a little bit more clear, we're not going to use her technique here. One of the enemies already has a bug on them without doing anything, just from attacking him outside of battle. This one, I would assume definitely would get quantum because he already has physical. So let's try it on him. Boom. Yes, now has quantum, very nice. Also did get a def bug and of course that all type damage resistance. Now we're just gonna basic him because we don't need to do anything else. He got a speed bug up there as you can see. See if we can reduce its defense. I mean, her burst did 11k. It's definitely not bad, especially because she is built with nearly 100% effect hit rate that could go to other stats to make her deal more damage. So looking at the boss now, he has 41% def reduction, another 6.5 from the bug, a little bit of speed reduction, a little bit of attack reduction. I would have to assume right now these do not stack. Maybe their turns are refreshed. We'll try and keep an eye out on that. The def reduction did just get procced there, so hold on. Yeah, when the same bug is activated again, it just resets the turn counter back up to 4. Boss's weakness is gone, so we're gonna go ahead and re-implant it. There was a 15.7k hit. I think he still had his def reduced at that point. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of my questions answered with Silverwolf there. But while we're here, I do want to mention, I think this is going to be like her playground. Forgotten Hull, she fits like perfectly here. It's crazy. Firstly, all the battles I've seen so far is one really strong enemy with some minions. So taking an AoE DPS, I would plan on Jingyuan and her together, honestly. I think that'd be really nice to take care of the minions while she debuffs the ever-living hell out of the main boss. And then of course, her ability to add a weakness to a boss is pretty invaluable here. Like, I don't have any really good wind units raised besides my Dan there. So I could throw her in this team, just implant lightning for my Jingyuan or whoever else, really. I doubt that's going to be a make or break thing early, but like, you know, when we start getting into these later stages, it's probably gonna be really important to be able to break the boss. I guess just for fun, we can go a little bit deeper into Forgotten Hull. Again, I don't really have 2 decent teams yet, but my plan for the future, team 1 here with Seela, Tingyun, Gepard, and Natasha, and then team 2 with Jingyuan, Silverwolf, Bailu, and Clara. I think it'll be pretty nice as we have a main DPS in both teams. We have a healer in both teams. We have a protector of sorts, Gepard for his shields, Clara for her aggro and damage reduction. And then of course damage supports like Silverwolf for all her def reduction and weakness applying. And then Tingyun for attack and speed buffs, etc. I barely have 4 full sets at the moment. Clara has no chest piece. Bailu is completely unbuilt still, but actually I made some decent progress with her traces. Her burst is at 8. I don't even remember doing that, but okay. I'm probably just gonna have to give her like literally whatever for now because I don't even have anything to raise gear right now. Obviously I have to steal this stuff back from Silverwolf because yeah, my Seela is a little bit more damage important. Those 2 pieces did have like 20% effect hit rate on them though, so I'm gonna have to get that back somehow. If I even have a 2 set of this, I'll probably just give this to her for now. I literally can't raise anything, but she'll at least get 10% effect hit rate, so it's something. I guess we could give her an effect hit rate chest, but like, I think with her F2P card, it shouldn't be necessary. Yeah, she's at 75.9% effect hit rate now, which is definitely a little lower than ideal. I mean, I think for now, we're just gonna give her effect hit rate. I'll probably swap it off later. May as well try and get it to 9. 104%, maybe a little overkill. But these 8 units I'm bringing should have at least something equipped now. Some of it is +0. We're only gonna do a few battles in Forgotten Hull because I do plan to make a dedicated video for it, see how far I can get. I'm gonna go with my Silverwolf team first. I kind of want to just see what Silver Wolf is going to do on her. Oh, well, she has no choice but to attack the boss now. Jing Yuan is there and he took care of the minions pretty quick. Let's see what her burst does now. Like 2k probably. Yes. Obviously depends a lot on her build, as you can see. Would be nice if we can add an electric weakness to the boss here. I think we did indeed, yes. And yeah, that took a good chunk off of his weakness bar. Since the boss still has weakness, we're just going to normal attack. And we got an attack reduction bug there. We really need to manage our skill points decently well in this team. Jing Yuan needs to do his skill every single turn. First floor here was of course not a huge issue and we got that last star now. Let's try floor 2. We have a lot more weakness types here. We also do not have any ice units raised. Probably gonna have Silver Wolf up here honestly, but I might switch up the team a little bit. I still do want Jing Yuan in there even though this is recommended Electro. We're just gonna have Natasha instead of Bailu and Fire MC. We're gonna see if that works out. Would prefer electric weakness, but it's quantum. It's fine, I guess. I guess we could just try again. Oh, it was electric that time. Very cool. Let's do his burst and skill. May as well reduce his def while we're at it. He's about to take a lot of damage from our Jing Yuan. I would hope so. Did that def reduction work? It did. Also has the def bug, so nearly 50% def reduction at the moment. Here we go. Yep, nice little 52k. Not bad on a single target. Now we got electric when there's like 2 HP left on him. Whatever. But yeah, that side worked out really well. No one even came close to dying. And that was floor 2. Honestly, still pretty easy. We're gonna do one more here and then hopefully before it resets, we can see how far we can get once we manage our team a little bit better, get Gepard raised, get everyone some okay gear at least. This one's looking pretty tough with just ice as recommended. We don't have any ice raised. I'll probably do more or less the same thing I did before. You can of course look at their individual weaknesses as well. The only one they share in common is ice, but they also have their own separate weaknesses. Sadly, Jing Yuan only has 8 stacks at the moment, but let's check out what he's about to get hit with. Yeah, Silver Wolf implanted physical, so his physical res is minus 20%. Sadly, it wasn't electric, but he does still have that 41 plus 6 def reduction at the moment. Again, 51k. Ah, this time we got electric. Very cool. I think that's just gonna kill him, unfortunately. Yeah, oh well. I think the boss had like all the debuffs at that point and electric res reduction. And yeah, floor 3 also not too bad there. I imagine we could go quite a bit higher, but I'll save that for later. Overall, I'm happy I did decide to get Silver Wolf. I think she's going to be invaluable for the later stages of Forgotten Hall. Also, general boss fights, I do think she shines a lot more in single target situations. And, you know, in really good gear, she can actually do solid damage while keeping, you know, nearly 100% effect hit rate. Obviously, how I have her built now is purely just to get debuffs on the enemies, which is okay too. But yeah, make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.